start eating some veggies, try sneaking the stuff into the foods they love. You will need time, ingenuity, and a food processor. Step 1. Puree white beans and substitute them for half the butter in your cookie recipes. Voila! Less fat and more fiber. Step 2. The next time you make kid-friendly meatloaf, throw whatever vegetables you have on hand into the food processor and mix them in with the chopped meat. Do the same with hamburgers and spaghetti sauce. Research proves that kids don't notice when steamed broccoli and cauliflower are blended into pasta sauce. Step 3. Add pureed spinach, beets, or prunes to a brownie or chocolate cake mix. For white and yellow cakes, use pureed carrots or apples. Step 4. Bake a whole squash, mash it, and stir it into your favorite mac and cheese dish. Step 5. Add crunch to salad favorites like tuna and chicken by mixing in shredded cabbage. Step 6. Mash and whip a ripe avocado until smooth and use it in place of mayonnaise. Don't give up on trying to get your kids to eat their vegetables voluntarily. One study showed that children often have to be shown a vegetable 10 to 15 times before they'll try it. Step 7. Fortify mashed potatoes by blending in pureed cauliflower. Step 8. Fold pumpkin into your morning pancakes. Step 9. Sneak pureed carrots into a fruit smoothie. Step 10. Make muffins more nutritious by adding grated zucchini and carrots. Did you know mothers who eat fruits and vegetables when they're pregnant and then breastfeed boost their children's chances of liking those foods?
Wow, that was interesting on how to get kids to eat. You know what? If I was a parent, I wouldn't go through all that trouble, though.
What would you do, Jason? Please, this is going to be classic.
Like, this is how we were raised. Like, you know, just... in case
But
you don't
we don't encourage that sort of thing beyond Good Morning Sri Lanka. We really don't.
Kid, you gotta raise it, right? So,
but yeah, you know, it's up to the parent, of course. Yeah. But now we've tasted all of this wonderful food. I'm sure many other people out there would love to taste it as well.
Yes.
So can you tell us how they can go about getting their hands on some of this?
Yes, well, we are at the Good Market every Thursday from 12 to 8. And like I said, you know, I really want people to try it out. So there's always samples there for people to come and try it as they go, and introducing them to new things. You know, you don't have to buy anything. You can just come and you can feel free to ask me questions, and you know how you want to make it on your own, or you know, just anything.
Because you're a generous person.
Because I'm a generous person, but I just really want to get it out there, you know, and give people other options than what they think is limited. It isn't limited. There's a lot of health foods out there, and it's local and accessible, and it's cheap, and you know, you can really change your whole lifestyle through it.
And even if you're someone who adores coconut milk and coconut oil and coconut cream, there's still an alternative out
Actually, you know, all that they said was bad with coconut, now they're reversing it and they're saying coconut's really good. So actually coconut is really, really good for you, and you know.
Quick question, Amaya. Do you know where we are going to be this Thursday at 12 noon?
Do tell me, Jason. I'm not enlightened.
It's a rhetorical. Oh, I thought you'd get it. Gosh, we're going to be at the Good Market going to look at us because I want to get the Gotical.
Yes. Sorry, the light bulb went off. So a bit of a tube light above my head today.
For all of those people who can't make it to the Good Market, though, they can find us on our Facebook page. So it's facebook.com/Warehouse Project.
The Warehouse Project.
And there's links to the Wonder Bar page and Cakes for a Cause and the Powwow all on that site, and then you can just pop me a message or whatever, and you know, and we can talk and discuss things.
Well, Mel, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show.
Jason, hands off, please. Just because it's closer to you does not mean that you get to attack it.
I'm entitled to it. She actually left it next to me. That means she wants me to have it. Thank you. Agreed? Yes. Okay. Well, right after the break, we'll be coming back with Professor Spinks, who is the Senior Advisor to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Hong Kong. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Back to Good Morning Sri Lanka. In case you just tuned in, you missed out on a segment with Mel. She was actually speaking about some great healthy food. Well, right now we're getting into the Senior Advisor to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Hong Kong, Professor John Spinks. Good morning. It is such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, that's great to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me. I appreciate it.
We at MTV love people like you.
No.
Education is so very important, I'm sure. I mean, anywhere you go. Oh, Jason.
Well, education is so important these days, I guess. Yeah,
it is. It really is. So, Professor, tell us, why are you here in Sri Lanka?
Well, this is my 4th, 5th, 6th visit, I think, to Sri Lanka. We have meetings sometimes with government officials. We have meetings with universities sometimes. But this particular time, we're visiting the schools, the high schools. We talk to the students about opportunities in Hong Kong for bachelor degree studies, mainly. So it's been nice. So we've talked to, I must have talked to maybe 500 students, I guess, in the last couple of days. But so it's really nice, and they're great. They're interesting and they're exciting. I mean, this is what makes a job like this so interesting.
Right. Let me ask you this. Like, I'm really curious. As a artsy type person, are these scholarships for people that are studying, like if they want to be a doctor or something, or is it for creative types like us?
It's for all disciplines, if that's what you mean. So I mean, we don't. We offer a lot of scholarships, but based upon merit, of course.
Right.
So if you're a straight A student, of course, you get a top scholarship, but we don't restrict them to any particular discipline. So if the top students happen to go into law or into economics and finance or actuarial studies or whatever, and of course that's the scholarship they get. So and at the top level, the scholarships will cover everything. It will cover tuition fees, it will cover accommodation, it will cover your laptop computer or whatever.
Oh, okay. Wow, that sounds
good,
really
it?
good, actually.
Because there's so many parents, I guess, and children as well, who are set on being a doctor or being a lawyer or being an engineer, and because they're just not aware of the other professions that are out there as well. But do you see that trend changing now? More people are going for diverse fields of study, things like that?
It's interesting. In Asia, of course, it's true that a lot of parents do focus on the traditional professions, and here I would say, students do talk to me about medicine and dentistry. But engineering tends to be the number one. And I suppose for Asia generally, it's probably economics and finance, which are the most favoured degrees. But I do see a small change happening in Asia. I mean, in Singapore, as you may know, the Yale University are opening up their liberal studies programs there, and that's of course trying to move away from the idea of career preparation into a more general degree. I mean, interesting for us, as I say, we get lots of students, in fact about half of our students from Sri Lanka go into engineering, but they don't always stay in engineering after they finish. They go into general management or service industries. So actually, the whole idea, I think, of trying to train people for professions is starting to decrease a little bit in popularity.
And you need an all-rounder who can sort of manage so many other things.
Absolutely, and indeed, I think university education is very much moving away from the idea of providing knowledge in a particular discipline. Towards finding or giving students more competencies for things like communication skills, leadership skills, negotiation, planning skills, and these sorts of things. And I mean, we talk about the knowledge era these days, but actually, I think it's my personal view is that knowledge is overrated. I mean, universities used to be the places where knowledge was disseminated, where knowledge was generated from research, and where knowledge was held in the libraries. Nowadays that's not the case, right? I mean, knowledge is all around us. It's true, right? So you can just Google it. So in that sense,
internet.
Right. In that sense, I mean, what you really want to do is try to get people to produce graduates who are going to really make a difference in society, and that means graduates with those sorts of skills, those sorts of competencies, and that's what distinguishes, any. I mean, there are perhaps, what should we say, 1 million students who graduate in economics around the world every year, right? And they all have roughly the same sort of understanding of economics. They're the same textbooks if they're in English language, so we have a common sort of understanding of what sort of knowledge people need to know. So how does the employer pick amongst all those graduates?
Yeah.
Well, they pick them on the basis of who can then communicate best, who can then who can show evidence of leadership, who can show evidence of their planning skills and negotiation skills. So those are the things that make a difference to students. And those students with those skills are going to be the most successful when they move on in their careers.
Right. Tell me about the university that you work for. I understand that you were awarded an honorary fellowship there.
I have some awards, but the University of Hong Kong is one of the nicest universities to work for. So, I mean, I've been there now for over 35 years. I have.
So did your career start
there? Virtually, yes.
Oh, wow.
But Hong Kong is one of those places that, well, maybe you either love or you hate, but I mean, personally, I just love it. I think this it has energy. I mean, it has so much energy. It's just that keeps you going. There's all sorts of opportunities there. There's, I never really, although I've been in the same university for that long, I don't spend that long. I spend typically about 5 to 6 years in any one particular job within the university, and there are always new things which the universities are developing, new initiatives, new programs, etc., etc.
You handle undergraduate enrollment, if I'm correct.
I do, yes, correct.
You do that?
I do.
Oh.
That's why he's here in Sri Lanka as well, isn't it?
That makes sense. Eureka!
I'll give you a place. I look after admission to the university. I look after recruitment as well, particularly of international students. But we have students from, of course, obviously from Hong Kong. We have students from mainland China. We have students from the rest of the world. I mean, currently, it's going very, very well for us. We have last round of admissions, we had over 50,000 applications just for undergraduate studies. We only have 3,000 places available, so 50,000 applications. And
that would be real tough.
Cream of the crop gets in, don't they?
It's very good for us. It's very good.
I see.
But about 25,000 of those are from the Hong Kong school system, and another 25,000 are from the rest of the world. So, including mainland China, of course. So it is becoming a very popular place internationally these days.
But you mentioned that you've been in Sri Lanka 4 or 5 times previously as well, and you've been in this particular career for 35 years. So what are the changes that you see in the trends in the subcontinent so far? Do you see a lot of things changing around you?
Well, one of the really interesting changes I see is if you go back just 10 years, I guess, maybe 15 years, students who wanted to go abroad for their studies typically chose the US, the UK, and then Australia came on the scene, and then a little bit later Singapore came on the scene. But now what I see is a lot of students wanting to stay in Asia. I mean, they may move from one country to another. The Bangladeshis may go to Malaysia, and the Koreans may go to China, and the Chinese may come to Hong Kong. So we move around.
Move around.
But,
within the same continent.
That's right, all within the same continent. And I think there's the reasons, of course, are partly cultural, partly geographical,